And only when those coins are in circulation, only then can Dajjal declare, I am the Messiah. So an international monetary system that is doing all kind of acrobatics is going to finally conclude with dinar and dirham. And so we ask, where are the scholars of Islam?
جزاك الله خيرا على هذه التذكرة. If I'm not mistaken, I want to ask you, you have mentioned that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never married to Aisha radiallahu anha, and I don't understand. Can you give me some more explanation, please?
A marriage ceremony is invalid if a girl does not have the choice to say yes or no. Allah subhanahu, this is in the Sirah, Ibn Hisham, you find it there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicated through a vision that this, I've chosen this as your wife, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. Once that communication was received, she is his wife. He doesn't have to marry her. She is his wife because Allah has chosen her as his wife. So there was never any marriage ceremony. No. So he did not marry her. Allah chose her for him. He did not marry her. But the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, in Sahih Muslim, in several other books of hadith, is that he married. She is saying, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha is saying, that the Prophet married me when I was 6. Someone did something to the wording. Instead of saying that Allah communicated to the Prophet that I am his wife when I was 6. Okay? Someone did something to it, I made it now, that he married me when I was 6. If this hadith is accepted as correct, which is in conflict with the Quran, then tomorrow, when the Sharia is enforced in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Syria, wherever the revolution takes place, these uprisings, this time bomb is waiting to explode. What are you going to do? Tell me. When they come to you to the court for a marriage to take place, are you going to say, yes, the marriage ceremony can take place, but you can't take your wife home? She has to remain with her mother. You cannot have khalwa with her, you cannot be alone with her. How can you do that? This is his wife. Huh? And the government is going to support him, because the idea is to embarrass Islam, to make Muslims the laughing stock of the world. So if you can take this 6-year-old girl back home, and you can say, well, I'm not going to have sexual relations with her, but forget that, when we in the bedroom, that's us. Huh? It is haram, it is haram, it is haram to have sexual relations with a girl who has not become a woman. It is haram, it is haram, it is haram. And we can use the Quran to establish that. If it is haram to have sexual relations with a girl before she has become a woman, then how can you marry her? How can you marry her? So the Sharia court should say, no, the marriage is not permissible in accordance with the Quran. That only when she has become a woman, then you can marry her.
As you mentioned before, as a result of the Middle East uprising, Israel will wage the preemptive war to create a great Israel. So in the years to come towards the Akhir Zaman, what do you think were events that will take place in Southeast Asia particularly?
I like that question. I have a question to ask you first. When the Malay recites the Quran, he's not lazy. He says akhir. But when he's not reciting the Quran, he says ahir. Huh? Ahir zaman. No, not ahir. Akhir zaman. Don't be lazy. As soon as Israel launches a big war, which might start with an attack on Pakistan, nuclear plants and nuclear weapons, and a simultaneous attack on Iran, Iran's nuclear plants. As soon as that happens, Singapore will know our time has now come. Either Singapore acts this way, or it's the beginning of the end for Singapore. But I'm sure that Malaysian diplomacy is already aware of the problem. We have an ambassador right here. And he and I have already discussed the subject. Malaysia is not asleep. No. If an effort is made to take over Johor, or an effort is made to take over, what's the name of that island in Singapore? Not Java, the other one? Huh? No, the big one. Sumatra. Then you can't defend that little island of Singapore. Not possible. Not possible to defend it. Too vulnerable. Then you will have some very interesting developments. It is better for me not to speak with too much details. But just to make you aware that there are going to be dramatic developments in Southeast Asia as soon as Israel launches her attack.
This going to be one question.
Assalamualaikum, Sheikh. My name is Sheikh. And recently there was a meeting in Kazakhstan. This meeting was attended by leaders from China and Russia and leaders from Middle Asian countries, and with President Ahmadinejad and leader of Pakistan was there as the observer in Kazakhstan. And India, yes. And that meeting was India.
This was most
Yes, exactly. It was Shanghai Cooperation's organizations, and during that meeting, Pakistan leader have decided that they want to join that Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So, do you see this as the beginning of alliance between Pakistan and Russia? And that is my question.
I studied in Pakistan. The knowledge that you see displayed today is because of the training I got from great teachers in Pakistan. Okay? I have found great love for Islam amongst the people of Pakistan. Not only in Pakistan, but outside of Pakistan. But I found the worst leaders. There's nothing worse than them anywhere in the world than those who are leading Pakistan. And whenever a leader emerges who stands up, he's killed. He's assassinated. For all his faults, and Pakistanis don't like me to say this, for all the faults of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and he was a man who committed great evil, no doubt about it. Yet he did stand up stand up for Pakistan and resisted them. And Henry Kissinger gave him a warning. We'll make a terrible example out of you if you continue this way. But he persisted. And in February 1974, he pulled off what was something that was very, very successful. It was the second Islamic Summit Conference in Lahore. Malik Faisal rahimahullah joined with Zulfikar Ali Bhutto to ensure that that summit conference takes place, and the rulers of the world didn't like it at all. And Indira Gandhi responded 2 months later to the Lahore Islamic Conference. 2 months later, in April, when India detonated her first nuclear blast, and India joined the nuclear club. That was the response to what Bhutto and Faisal did in February 74. And then when India detonated that first nuclear blast, then Bhutto declared, even if we have to eat grass, even if we have to eat grass, we must develop a nuclear deterrent. If the world of Islam today has a nuclear deterrent, which is why Pakistan is under such attack, part of the credit for that must go to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. I don't know why the Islamic movement in Pakistan is incapable of recognizing something which is of value. The hatred for Bhutto is so great that it blinds them to be able to do proper analysis. Zia-ul Haq is the September massacre in Jordan, supporting and doing the dirty work of the Americans in Jordan against the Palestinians. So Zia-ul Haq, like Bhutto, was also a man with blood on his hands, with great evil to be done by him. But Zia-ul Haq also did great good. And the hatred for Zia-ul Haq is so great amongst the secular thinkers, they can't recognize what good he did. It is because he was establishing himself independently from them that the aeroplane fell down from the sky. Yeah. And he became Shaheed. Okay? So any time Pakistan produces a leader who is able to stand up independently, they kill. Benazir Bhutto, she not only wiped their feet for them, she walked the extra mile to say, I am with you. She did everything she could possibly do to say, I'm on your side. But they didn't believe her. They knew that this was a daughter who loved her father. And they knew that this daughter knew what they did to her father. So they didn't trust her. They didn't trust her. And when she was on the verge of recovering power in Pakistan, they destroyed her. You see? Despite all the evil of Benazir Bhutto, she still was better than what you have today.